Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we are quite close to update 14.5. How close, you might ask? Well, we are so close that Wargaming has put out a teaser trailer for update 14.5, highlighting what is more than likely going to be one of the main events of update 14.5, and in my opinion is something that is very much not okay. So, 14.5 seemingly is going to rotate around an event dedicated to the Johnston. If you guys don't know what the Johnston is, the Johnston was a Fletcher-class destroyer captained by one Commander Ernest E. Evans, famous for her engagements with Korea's center force in the Battle of Samar. I've done a whole cinematic video on the exploits of the Johnston called Taffy 3 if you want to check that out. It is a ship that we have all been asking for Wargaming to include in the game for years and years now. It's been in several of my top 5 future premium ship videos where we kind of theory craft premium ships for the coming year. Finally, it's coming to the game. Now you might be thinking, wait a second, Sealord, you're playing the Johnston in the background footage. Yes I am. So how can we have an update dedicated to the release of the Johnston when the Johnston's already out? Are they putting her in the armory or the premium shop permanently? No, that would be really cool if that's what this event was about. The return of the Johnston to the premium shop where you can buy it outright, and you can either play through the event to earn a cool camo for the Johnston or something like that. No, rather this event is centered around the release of a new Tier 9 premium Fletcher-class destroyer known as the GQ Johnny. Now, as you might look at the GQ Johnny, you'd be forgiven for thinking, wait a second, is this not just another From the Depths camo? Like we have for the Bismarck, the Hood, the Blucher, and a couple other premium ships in game, and Techline ships in game. Is that not what this is? No! This, ladies and gentlemen, is an entirely new premium ship. Instead of a camo. That I'm sure will be either in some event containers or sold in the armory. Well, probably will most definitely be sold in the armory in an Admiral bundle that will cost, $130, $140, rather than just being a camo for the Johnston. Now, you might be thinking, well, Sealord, that's not that bad. If you already have the Johnston, sure, you can't get the cool camo for it, but it's just, the Johnston with a camo bolted onto it. Not that big of a deal for those of you that already have the Johnston. Well, no, there's a bigger slap in the face to the owners of the Johnston. Now keep in mind, the Johnston was released in a very similar fashion to how new premium ships come out, where they are available for a limited amount of time and then they disappear from the armory and the premium shop for some cases months, some cases years on end. Well, I don't think we've reached the years point at this point with any premium ship, but they're usually gone for 6 months to a year, it seems like. So, of course, when the Johnston came out, all of us history buffs that loved the Johnston, loved the history behind the Johnston, rushed out and bought it because it's a cool historical ship. And we love the story of the Johnston and Evans and, their fight against Korea's center force in the Battle of Samar. Well, the slap in the face comes with a collection that will be available to owners of the GQ Johnny. It's a 4-piece collection. We don't know exactly what you have to do in order to collect these pieces yet. Maybe some combat, I'm assuming combat missions for the GQ Johnny, where at the end of collecting these 4 pieces, you will be rewarded with Commander Ernest E. Evans, who is not just a new JPEG. He does have enhanced commander skills, the GQ Johnny flag, and the still standing achievement. This is a massive, massive middle finger to everyone who went out and acquired the Johnston when it originally came out. Because the Johnston is a pretty okay premium ship, especially considering that they didn't really do anything that the community wanted out of the Johnston. They didn't add in like a heal to, kind of highlight the fact that she took so much damage in the battle. They didn't give it maybe the French saturation or, something to reflect the amount of damage the ship took, yet stayed in the fight. Instead, they gave it a burst mechanic with the sap shells, and that's about it. That's its whole thing. You can use the burst and it doesn't have a long cooldown time afterwards, so that's really the only thing that the Johnston has going for it. So that led many to, let's just say, buy it for its historical value and not really its in-game power. So naturally, most of the players that, of course, acquired the Johnston were very much looking forward to maybe getting, Evans or something along with the Johnston, but that didn't happen when the Johnston came out. And now, pretty much a year later, we're getting a new premium Johnston where you can get Evans as a commander. Again, massive slap in the face to those players that rushed out and bought this ship. And keep in mind, too, for those that bought it outright, they paid $100+ in an Admiral bundle to get the ship because, of course, Wargaming leans into FOMO so much because this Johnston, still has not returned to the game for purchase outright. I believe she's in some containers and such, but of course that's gambling to get one ship out of however many ships are in those containers. So this is very much not okay in any stretch of the imagination, in my mind. I know Wargaming has most certainly cloned premium ships beforehand and, even released the exact same ship with literally no changes but some cosmetic changes. We have the golden ships where it's like, okay, yeah, here's what was the last one they did? The Suzuya, and if you get really lucky, here's the Suzuya Golden, but you didn't have to get the Suzuya Golden to get any additional content that went along with the Suzuya. It's just, hey, if you got lucky, you can get the Suzuya Golden, and that's it. So it's not like it's a case like that where this is a golden Johnston or something like that. That's just, something you get if you're super lucky. This is straight up locking content that many of the original Johnston purchasers were looking forward to behind, however much they're going to charge for the GQ Johnny. Which, short of it being some ship you can get for free in an event, which I highly doubt it, but if they do that, okay, that's one thing. But they're not making what is essentially a camo for the Johnston, its own premium ship, to give it away. At least I don't see that happening. And if it does, I'll make a video singing their praises for that. But I highly doubt that that'll happen. So now, those of us that already bought the Johnston, if we want to get Evans, which again, a lot of the people that bought the Johnston in the first place bought it for the historical value, they want Evans. Now you got to buy the ship again and acquire Evans in that manner. So this is a giant slap in the face, a giant middle finger to the owners of the Johnston already. Now, if they do somehow, or if they haven't announced it yet and they're just sitting on it for some reason, which, again, I doubt that they are, because they would have included this in the dev blog. They've been, to Wargaming's credit, in the dev blogs, the more recent dev blogs, they've been very clear about what they're doing with, new content, how it's going to come out and such. So I would assume it would be in the dev blog already. Like if they were going to allow the owners of the Johnston to take part in the Still Standing collection and earn, Evans, the flag, and the achievement and all that jazz, but they haven't said that at this point. And again, with the update being quite literally around the corner, I would assume they would have mentioned that at this point. So yet again, giant middle finger to the players that bought the Johnston back in the day. And you know what they're going to do with this too? It's going to be just like every other new premium that comes out. Unless, again, they break their habits, which I hope they do, but probably not. Just like with every other premium ship that gets released. The GQ Giant is going to come out. It's going to be available for a very limited amount of time. So yet again, they're leaning into the FOMO. Hey, you want to get Evans, you want to get that flag, you want to get this ship with the cool camo, you better get it now before it disappears for another year or whatever. They're going to do the exact same thing yet again. So this, in my opinion, is a new low for Wargaming. Especially when they 100% could have released this as a camo for the Johnston for like $30, and people would have bought it. They buy these camos all the time. Look around when you're, playing the game. Look at all the crazy camos players have purchased to put on their ship. We got the crocodile camo for the Montana, the giant scorpion camo for the Yami. You got the one that turns the GK into a spaceship, so forth and so on. Players love to buy these camos because it makes their ship distinguishable in game. And players especially love these From the Depths camos that Wargaming does sell. now. So they could have easily sold this for, again, $20, $30 a pop. No one would have batted an eye. Wargaming would have made money. But no, that's not enough. They got to turn around, sell you another tier 9 premium that's probably going to cost $100+, or you're going to have to gamble to get her in whatever event. Again, if they don't do that, I'll make a video, you know, singing their praises if they just release it at like a discounted price, which sure would be nice, or something like that. At the bare minimum, they should allow the players that already purchased the Johnston to partake in the collection to get Evans. I mean, they're at that point, you're just getting the commander, the flag, and the emblem or whatever. You're not even getting the camo that, again, should be a separate camo just for the Johnston. But, of course, Wargaming's decided that's not making them enough money, so they're releasing it in this fashion. So, guys, that's my 2 cents on this event. It's very much not okay, in my opinion. I know I ranted about it a little bit in the dev blog video, but this deserves its own standalone video on the eve of this coming out, in my humble opinion. So let me know what you guys think about this event. Are you planning on getting the Johnny? I mean, I'm kind of torn because I do want Evans. I do very much want Evans, but I don't want to reward Wargaming for doing this to Evans. Like, this is a man who, in my humble opinion, is the most badass U.S. Navy captain since John Paul Jones. Not alone in that opinion either, which is, again, why so many players bought the Johnston, wanting to get Evans, and now look what they're doing with them. So I'm rambling a little bit, so I'll go ahead and stop the video here. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Share your thoughts, and yeah, just let me know what you guys think about the whole situation. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a wonderful Wednesday, wonderful rest of your week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.